Thank you so much for joining us here today in Brussels, and also thank you to all of those who are joining us online. We're so pleased that you've been able to join us. I am Emma Joyce, Senior Managing Director of the Global Blockchain Business Council, GBBC, Financial Services and Head of EMEA. I wanted to start by saying thank you to MEP Ondřej Kovařík for hosting us all here today. Mr. Kovařík was instrumental in drafting much of the EU's digital finance regulations, and as technology continues to advance, the market in crypto activity regulation is a significant step towards establishing comprehensive regulations for the digital assets industry. The EU has been a leader in this and other initiatives, including the adoption of an open banking strategy. And today, as you will hear in more detail shortly, we will explore what the EU has achieved so far and the global impact of its regulatory initiatives. What a true honour it is to sit inside this building, one of the homes of the European Union, which has brought countries together to cooperate for over 60 years now, delivering over half a century of peace, stability and prosperity. Today, we have representatives from the European Parliament, European Commission, the United States Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the Bank of England, European Court of Justice, and the European Securities and Markets Authority joining us. I am optimistic at the opportunities our different countries and continents have at working together, collaborating to ensure our economies continue to benefit from the innovation in finance that is taking place. At GBBC, through multi-stakeholder convenings like this, engaging policymakers and regulators and driving education, GBBC is dedicated to furthering the adoption of blockchain to create more secure, equitable and functional societies. We seek to contribute to the development of policy and standards through shared engagement between the public and private sectors, working to foster trust and develop long-term relationships, and we advocate for policy outcomes that protect consumers and champion economic growth and innovation. I'm delighted to be here today with Sandra Rowe, CEO of GBBC, Demetrios Sarakis, GBBC Board Director, and Jeff Bandman, GBBC Board Director and former CFTC official. We are also joined by a number of our members. Demetrios, a former European Parliament advisor, has been instrumental in curating this event and bringing together the panels and speakers. Demetrios and Jeff also chair our European Policy Working Group, which many of our members here today participate in. This group is currently working on responses to the ESMA consultation papers on reverse solicitation in MiCA and the conditions and criteria for the qualification of crypto assets as financial instruments. With our members, we work on responding to consultations for other jurisdictions around the world. Sandra sits on Commissioner Pham's CFTC Global Markets Advisory Committee, Digital Assets Market Subcommittee, and co-chairs both the taxonomy and infrastructure work streams. Further, in the UK, we have been working with the Bank of England, the FCA, and the UK's Treasury to promote the new digital security sandbox to our members. We are a global non-profit foundation association headquartered in Switzerland and with our executive team and board based around the world in Brussels, London, New York, Washington, D.C., Cyprus, Zurich and Seattle. In addition, we continue to deepen our ties in the Middle East and Asia. We're a unique association in that we bring together large financial institutions, public corporations across industry sectors from big tech to consumer services, alongside incredibly innovative startups, NGOs, activist groups, academia and civic society, all working together within the membership. We are one of the key bridges that convenes TradFi and digital native companies. Since the inception of GBBC at Davos in January 2017, we have had a focus on education, and ultimately, that is why we are here today. The European Union has made incredible strides in developing its digital asset regulatory framework, and it is a framework our members from across the Atlantic often want to hear more about. I look forward to working with you all and increasing collaboration in this space, and thank you once again for the opportunity and taking the time to join us in these critical discussions. It's my absolute pleasure to now introduce MEP Ondřej Kovařík.
Thank you very much, Emma, and thank you for your kind words and the introduction. First of all, I would like to welcome you all here today in the premises of the European Parliament, and also those who are watching us online. I think it is actually a very good crowd, many familiar faces around, and I'm really looking forward to our discussions this afternoon. First of all, big thanks to GBBC, Sandra, Dimitris, Emma, and obviously your team, my team as well, for organizing and putting together this event, which I think is a very good and timely event to take place in the Parliament, despite the fact that we are getting very close to the end of this parliamentary mandate and people are getting busy with a lot of things. I think actually it's a very good moment to first of all take stock of what has happened in this area in the past years, not only on the EU level but also I think worldwide, and also to start to consider and contemplate what can be the messages to pass to the next parliamentary mandate in the European Parliament, the next Commission, which will start later this year, I'm pretty sure, and also I think to the businesses in general. What can we expect in terms of policy and regulatory framework regarding the digital finance and digital assets sector in the second half of 20s. And I think this is also an important part of our discussion today. This will be also the main topics that these panels, the panels of this event will focus on, and I think these are also important issues. We'll have a number of distinguished speakers, and I really would like to thank to all of them for accepting our invitation, and I'm looking forward to the exchanges that we'll have. Some of them will touch upon, I think, more general and more long-term issues, like global harmonization, for instance. Some of them will focus on the issues that we are, as well as we speak, currently dealing with in the European Parliament, such as the open finance or open banking issues. So I think, again, very timely. And as Emma said, we have experts coming from various backgrounds, be it from the public bodies, the institutions from different parts of the globe, but also the stakeholders representing the industry and academia. If I can just for a moment be slightly personal, at the beginning of this mandate, back in 2019, 2020, some 4 or 5 years ago, we proposed as a group a work on the digital finance area, because first we knew and we expected the Commission to take a step forward and propose a legislation, but also because we believed that there was an urgency to actually address these issues in terms of comprehensive policy framework. And I had the privilege and the opportunity to be a rapporteur of this report in this European Parliament back in 2020. And I'm really glad that we managed actually to get some meaningful conclusions, and then afterwards also some concrete legislative steps that were proposed, despite the agenda that was completely jeopardized by the ongoing COVID pandemic and other priorities that emerged. I think that the fact that the digital assets regulatory framework remained one of the priorities of this Parliament, but also of the European Commission, is actually was an important step, and I'm really glad that we could have all together contributed to its final outcome. It is also important for me to say that throughout this process, and I think this is also why we have such a good representation today at different panels, the good cooperation and exchanges between the industry, the private sector stakeholders, but also the policymakers was critical in order to achieve a reasonable and workable outcomes when it comes to regulatory framework. And I think I see, as I said, many familiar faces here around the audience. We've engaged in many exchanges on this topic, and I think for me it was an important and actually, as I said, critical part of our work to make sure that whatever we come up with as a final outcome of our work in terms of regulatory and legislative framework is actually something that makes sense also for the industry, that we don't create any additional hurdles, any over regulatory framework, but we create something that would balance some of the interests that we have, but also the possibility for further innovation. And I'm really glad that we also will discuss today not only what we do in Europe, but that we approach this issue in the way that I think it's the right one, and that's the global area. I think whatever digital services we talk about, and we obviously focus on the digital finance today, we know that these services have no border. We are not very much used to regulate without borders. The regulation usually has some kind of limitations geographically, legally speaking, but I think it's important to discuss this with a global perspective, and I'm really grateful that we are organizing this event together with GBBC, because I think this is exactly what gives this global perspective to our discussions. I think I would not delay very much this introductory part, because I'm really looking forward to the discussions that we have in the upcoming panels. I think that what is, in my view, important is actually to also invite the audience, if possible, to take active participation in it, and so that we all deserve also the final cocktail that is organized after this event is concluded. Thank you very much once again to all of you, and I think I will now pass the floor to Dimitris, who will be chairing our first panel, and invite the first panelist to start. Thank you very much.